Rockets and Thunder game scheduled for Wednesday night was postponed after Houston didn't have the league-required 8 available players needed to proceed with the game under the NBA's coronavirus protocols. This all comes after superstar James Harden was declared unavailable after a video surfaced of him partying at a Houston area club. Harden defended his actions on IG yesterday, the same day the NBA fined him $50K for breaking protocol. Perk, we know James Harden wants out of Houston. The Miami deal fell through. Tell me this. We know he's open to Philly or Brooklyn. Should the Rockets sit Harden?
Hell no, Molly. Hell no. Sit him for what? What are the Rockets going to benefit by sitting James Harden? Nothing. This is a guy still today that is a walking bucket, one of the best scorers that the game has ever seen. There's no way the Rockets could sit James Harden, a guy that you're paying over close to $40 million a year, an MVP candidate type guy. Yes, he has his extracurricular activities that he has, his issues off the court. But when he steps between those lines, the guy still could play basketball, and he can help the Rockets. He still is the Rock, Mr. Rocket himself. He is the culture still. While he's in a Rocket uniform, the Rockets' best decision is to play James Harden, deal whatever they have to deal with, and keep it moving. It makes zero sense at all to sit James Harden. John Wall is okay with playing with him. DeMarcus Cousins is okay. Woods is okay. When he did play with him in the preseason, it seemed pretty good to me. So, if I'm the Rockets, you got to hold tight. You got to deal with these issues internally, try to get past it. But sitting James Harden is not the answer.
Sitting James Harden actually, shockingly, is the answer. And I have to give credit to Stephen A. Smith, who mentioned this the other day. And let me tell you why. Number one, Perk, you're wrong about the idea that because he has 2 more years left on the deal, the team has all this leverage. The team has almost no leverage, in fact, the more I think about it. The fact is that the teams have leverage in the CBA, right? Because they're billionaires. They have a monopoly, a de facto monopoly on professional basketball. If you want to get rich and you're great at basketball, you got to deal with the NBA. And so they win the CBA. It favors the owners over the players. But what superstar players have in terms of leverage is if they're unhappy in a situation and they want out, there's really nothing you can do. Like, if you have the greatest owner of all time in the history of professional sports by far in America, the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, and you're the Lakers, and you got, L.A., maybe you can talk Kobe Bryant into staying long enough to figure out how to make the team better. This ain't that. And that's really the only example I can think of. If a disgruntled superstar really wants out, your team is sunk if you don't deal him. Everyone knows this, including the Rockets. You got to deal Harden. Here's the problem. I said long ago, the sooner they deal him, the better the deal they're going to get. Now, I know what the Rockets are thinking. Well, we're not getting enough of an offer yet. We're just not going to trade him for that. I told you how to fix that. You got to let all the teams know, come with your best and final right now. We're dealing him right now. And you will get the best offer that you'll ever get because his trade value is only going to decline from here. Look what we saw in the first 2 games, Perk. The first game we see KD is back. That looked like KD to me. If you're the Philadelphia 76ers, and by the way, let's start with the Nets. KD, Kyrie, they have unselfish players around them who can really score like Karis LeVert, who can monopolize the ball but doesn't the bench, or he can get his own shot off the dribble without over-dribbling, right? Who has a smooth overall game. Dinwiddie, who's an actual point guard. He's like actually a good player. You got Allen. You got a lot of guys who can play in real depth on the Nets. You don't need James Harden if you're the Brooklyn Nets. And if you're the Sixers and you watch that, you're looking at Ben Simmons going, we need someone to try to no one's going to stop KD, but we need someone who could do the best job humanly possible on KD. That's Ben Simmons, or else you really don't have a shot. And it got worse yesterday, because what's the takeaway after that Sixers game? Look, Seth Curry and Danny Green ain't going to miss all their threes all year. That's just not going to happen. But Tyrese Maxey, how is he not a lottery pick? And he didn't even play that much, and you could see the talent. Shake Milton is showing you last year was not a fluke. He can actually play. If you're the Sixers and you have what you have on that team right now, I wouldn't be in such a rush to trade for James Harden. I wouldn't be. Certainly not if I would. That's a deal breaker if they even bring up Ben Simmons. But I actually like what I have if I'm the Sixers. And then you got to look at Harden's track record of playing with other superstars. Even when it's his dude, like Chris Paul is one thing, but he asked for Westbrook. 1 year later, he doesn't want Westbrook anymore. No, I'm not giving up the farm for Harden, and a lot of teams feel that way. So, Perk, his trade value's not going to go up. But you know what can happen? He can get hurt. He can be forced to show up and play, and everyone knows he doesn't want to be there, and his trade value can go down. Or if you're the Sixers and you want to, if you're the Rockets and you want to be grown-ups about it, you want to be smart, you say, okay, everyone knows we're dealing James Harden. We're sitting him. By the way, one of the things is he's durable. Don't risk that right now. Sit him down and let everyone know, come with your best and final offer. We're moving this dude, and you will get the best offer that you will ever get for this guy.
Max, you just confused the hell out of me because I thought the question was, should the Rockets sit James Harden? You went on to talk about how good the Brooklyn Nets are and how good the Philadelphia 76ers are. And then you came back and talked about sitting James Harden in this trade value. I don't get it. I don't get it. You just confused the hell out of me because
why else would you sit Harden?
First of all, if I'm feeling, why would you sit Harden? It makes zero sense to sit him. Because if you sit him, guess what? You thought you seen videos of him in the club. He's definitely going to be in the club. You think he came in the training? You think he came in the preseason out of shape? He's definitely going to be out of shape. And that's really going to bring his trade value down. And James Harden is a hooper. He's a hooper. It's just guys that when they step between those lines as a former basketball player, Max, you never played the game, so I got to teach you this. As a former basketball player, when you get on the court, it blocks out everything that's happening in your life. That is your sanctuary. Hooping is your sanctuary. How many times, guys, you done heard guys say, oh man, hooping is my safe haven. Hooping saved my life. So sitting James Harden is not good for James Harden. Sitting James Harden is not good for the Houston Rockets. So at the end of the day, the Rockets have to nip this in the bud internally, figure it out, and move on from this, and have James Harden be available when he's ready to play, and the NBA lets him get through the protocol.
The question is, should the Rockets sit James Harden, Perk? Not should James Harden want to sit, although I might add that he probably should. But
I didn't say that.
The question is, should the Rockets sit James Harden? Why? Now, so the question, my answer is yes. Then the question is, well, why is the answer yes? And I gave you the reasons. One, the likely trade partners where he wants to go, the more they play, I believe the more you're going to see they might not want to trade for him, thereby depressing his trade value. There's an injury risk always. That could potentially, he's an enormous distraction to the team as a participating member of the team. That could maybe depress his trade value. All these things make it cheaper for other teams to trade him, meaning the Rockets get less back. I believe Fertitta's thinking right now, I have not spoken to him about this, but I believe his thinking is, if we hold on, we're going to get a better deal later. My point is, I believe the deal's going to get worse, not better.
That's not his
thinking. You need
thinking.
to signal to the league. We're moving him right now. We're moving him right now. Come with your best and final.
That's not.
Sit him down.
Max.
Done.
That's not what he's thinking, Max. What he's thinking is that I have James Harden under contract for 2 years, and I'm not just giving him up. And I would deal with everything else. They're trying to work it out internally. He don't have to trade him. Go ahead, Molly, because
I'll leave it there.
Max is tripping today. He's really tripping.
Listen, all I know, Harden just living his best to win a chip in Boston. I can't believe you didn't bring that up, Max, in terms of the argument. Guys, we'll keep it moving there. Oh, by the way, I do want to mention, really good game tomorrow on ABC. It's going to be the Nets and the Celtics. Make sure not to miss that. All right, we'll keep it moving. Got another NBA game I want to dive into. The Rockets and Thunder game scheduled for Wednesday night was postponed after Houston didn't have the league required 8 available players needed to proceed with the game under the NBA's coronavirus protocols. This all comes after superstar James Harden was declared unavailable after a video surfaced of him partying at a Houston area club. Harden defended his actions on IG yesterday, the same day the NBA fined him $50K for breaking protocol. Perk, we know James Harden wants out of Houston. The Miami deal fell through. Tell me this. We know he's open to Philly or Brooklyn. Should the Rockets sit Harden?
Hell no, Molly. Hell no. Sit him for what? What are the Rockets going to benefit by sitting James Harden? Nothing. This is a guy still today that is a walking bucket, one of the best scorers that the game has ever seen. There's no way the Rockets could sit James Harden, a guy that you're paying over close to $40 million a year, an MVP candidate type guy. Yes, he has his extracurricular activities that he has, his issues off the court. But when he